Hey gang, what's going on? I'm the Blue Ranger and welcome to the very first episode of Know Your Role. So the intention of this whole series is going to be to teach people who maybe aren't so familiar with the perks for weapons about their uses and where they fit in the best. I find that with the new April update, I don't know, game mechanics or game system, we're all pretty much going to reach 335 in a relatively quick period of time, and after that, in order to keep people interested, the goal is going to be to find the best weapons. Now, for people who don't understand weapon perks or just want to know more about them, the best weapons, you might be like, oh, but I already have a Hawksaw. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Hawksaw is the best weapon. The Hawksaw with a good roll is what makes it a best weapon. So, I'm just going to try to help people out to understand as best as I can the things that will help make your weapons stronger. The rolls you're looking for, the perks that most fit your play style. And this very first episode is going to be about the stability perks. We're going to focus mainly on things like rodeo, counterbalance, persistence, and perfect balance, and I am going to quickly bring up Zen moment. Now, as we look into these, there's a few things worth pointing out. The first being that I'm running around with a year 1 weapon because it's the only one I have with rodeo. Now, I want to talk about rodeo first. Rodeo is an interesting perk because unlike the other ones, those bother me, unlike the other two main balance perks, which are counterbalance and perfect balance, rodeo reduces the severity of this weapon's recoil entirely. It is not in any singular direction. The only difference is it is significantly lower than the other perks, like counterbalance, for instance, which is what makes the doctrine of passing. In many of my examples, I say a doctrine of passing is a good weapon, but with counterbalance, it's an amazing weapon. Even in the new meta, this thing is, if you have one, then you know, this is just, it shoots straight up with counterbalance, because what counterbalance does is it eliminates the side-to-side movement, and what perfect balance does, as we pull out a perfect, oh, here we go, this will be a good one. This is the same weapon without counterbalance. Same weapon, same exact firing method, and you can see how different those two firing rates are. So I guess what we're really talking about first is counterbalance. Not really my intention, but now you can definitely see the major difference between those firing patterns. But what rodeo does... Now, I'm bouncing all over. Let's stick to one thing at a time here. With perfect balance, what perfect balance does... Do I have a perfect balance on here? You have perfect and counterbalance. That's right. That's why I brought you. I don't. Yes, I do have perfect balance. So what perfect balance does is this is the Grasp of Moloch pulse rifle. What it does is it eliminates your up and down movement. So you'll notice that this is as fast as I can pull the trigger. Hang on. This is as fast as I can pull the trigger, and it's not climbing up the wall as bad as, you know, the auto rifle kicks a little bit more, but it doesn't climb up the wall as crazy because it has that perfect balance. There's not a lot of side-to-side motion on that to begin with, but this one has everything. This is as fast as I can pull the trigger. It barely goes anywhere. When you have both of those perks, it's incredible. Now, Zen Moment, which I only have on this here scout rifle, or not Zen Moment, Rodeo. Rodeo works with all of them, but you'll see it still moves, you know, it's definitely slowed down its movement, but it doesn't really do it in any direction specifically. All guns move up. That's something that's worth noting, is all guns, as they recoil back, fire towards the sky. And so they're all going to move up to a certain extent, and Zen Moment is going to slow down that a little bit. It's going to slow down that a little bit, as well as the side-to-side motion, but you're really looking for the other ones. Now, Persistence, which I don't have a weapon with Persistence. Actually, I should just make sure that that's accurate. Yes, I don't have a weapon with Persistence. What Persistence is going to do is Persistence is going to get more and more accurate as you fire the weapon, which it does help, and it will scale up to 20% of the weapon's base stability. However, it works best at hip fire. So if you're into hip fire weapons, then you're probably going to have some luck with that. But if you're not using a hip fire weapon, the difference is pretty minuscule. And counterbalance will go as high as 9% on any given weapon stability, eliminating the left and right. So it counterbalances the clear winner here. Perfect balance is a set 35-point increase. Now, Zen Moment, which is one that I really wanted to bring up quickly, what it does is it scales up to 66% over 5 hits, but it's got a short duration. So what that means is if you have a weapon with Zen Moment, let's see, what do I have with Zen Moment? I know I have one. Where are you? Where are you at? 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 Are you here? You're here. So when I'm using my Not Like the Others, which just is a phenomenal slow fire rate scout rifle, it's great for PvE. PvP it works, but you have to land your shots. If you don't land your shots, you're gonna have trouble. But I digress. So with this, I don't have a target to shoot at here, but as you shoot this weapon, which is already pretty stable, which is mainly because the slow fire rate, it's able to recenter on its own in the time that it takes to fire another shot. But as you fire this weapon at a target, the more damage you deal, this thing stops moving altogether when I'm hitting a target. When I'm hitting a boss, especially in a crit, it just stops moving. You don't even have to aim anymore. It's pretty fantastic in that way. But it's not a base stability perk increase, just like the persistence perk isn't. They will both help, but they're not, you need to have the hits. You have to do the damage for them to matter. Persistence, not as much as Zen Moment. Zen Moment is based on the damage, but persistence, you have to hold that trigger, which means you're tracking your enemy as you fire at them, whether you're in PvP or PvE. Now Rodeo again is going to be the lesser of the three main ones, because even though it balances all the way around, it doesn't balance as well as you'd probably want a weapon to do. Now the one, perfect balance is great, because what perfect balance often does is it'll roll. Oh, it didn't roll in that one. It'll often roll in a middle tree. So I'm trying to see. No, I thought one of these had it. Maybe not. Wait, do you? You don't. Ha! Great planning, Blue Ranger. Yes, there you are. Sometimes it'll roll in a tree, so you'll still get Zen Moment and Outlaw with your perfect balance. So that's kind of how that works. Is sometimes you'll get lucky and it won't take up one of your main perks. It kind of depends on what kind of weapon it is, but when you roll something incredible, like I still stand by it with the combination of, and we'll get into these damage perks later, but when you get into the combination of perfect balance and counterbalance, which is going to almost eliminate the recoil entirely, and add something like high caliber rounds, which is going to help to stagger your enemy, and watching it with no aiming whatsoever, thumbs off the joysticks, just watching that spread, you know you're going to hit your enemy every time. So stability is a major component when you're trying to deal DPS to any enemy, because you want to be able to hit for the damage you're putting out, because if you don't hit the target, it doesn't matter how much boosting you do to your weapon. So I wanted to bring up stability first. I think it's super important. Make sure you're paying attention to those things when your guns drop. Look for stability if you're anything like me. I am terrible at aiming while I'm run and gunning or something like that. I used to be a shotgunner back in the Halo days and in early Destiny days, so all I had to do was just run around the map and pull the trigger when I was ready to kill something. But the metas have changed, the weapon types have evolved, and now you have to play a little bit more tactically than back in the day, and so I'm learning, and one of the best ways for me to learn and get better is to have really good stability on my weapons, so the last thing I have to worry about is the recoil. So those are perks that I really like, and I always look for in weapons, and I wanted to share that with you. More of these episodes will come if you guys enjoy them, so please let me know what you think. I want to continue this series because I feel like there's a lot of people missing out on this information, because it's really good information that a lot of people just... It's not explained very well within the game. It's spelled out, you can read what the title of all the perks are, but without really digging into it, it's hard to tell what they do sometimes. So I want to do my best to bring you guys and gals information that I think is important in order to make your gaming experience better. So let me know what you think about this series, guys. Don't forget to rate and share and subscribe if you like what you see. Tell your friends if you think that this would be helpful to them as well. And as always, guys, you can check me out at twitch.tv/I'mTheBlueRanger Monday through Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And guys, have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.